once I tried to teach a large group of logisticians who were doing a course on applied security why it was so important to adopt the mindset and reality of the people who perpetrate different incidents. I told them this was the best way to predict what might happen, when, and especially how. Because if you know or you have thought about how something might happen, then, or where or when, then you can, your mitigation measures and your management measures obviously will be much better. To my surprise, they complained about this and were reluctant to do the exercises, which were basically planning the different incidents that could happen, like an ambush or intrusion or a kidnapping or whatever. To my mind, this just goes to show how formatted we tend to be. Yeah, we have a way of doing things, and anything that comes from outside that way of doing things is, wow, no, resistance. The best way of designing effective mitigation measures in terms of armed actions or criminality is to put yourself in the shoes of the perpetrator. It's not that easy to perpetrate incidents or crimes. There's a risk for them. As I said before, people plan things. Perpetrators plan things. Unless they're totally spontaneous, they have to have a certain amount of organization and planning to be successful. Yeah? And they have emotions during an incident as well. So when we design mitigation measures, we think like humanitarians think, like our organization thinks, and that's a mistake. We don't have a criminal mind usually, but we need to develop one. We need to be able to think like the people who are going to perpetrate. That's why analysis of incidents and how, rather than the why, is important. Yeah, how it happens. Yeah, it's important to analyze all aspects of incidents, but the how is shows modus operandis. That is why analyzing how incidents happen, also called modus operandi, is so important. But what happens usually after an incident is the incident is relayed to hierarchy verbally, then a report must be written, and in my experience, data management regarding the modus operandi of incidents or near misses is at best poor. We don't take the time to study the modus operandi. Our incidents and others' incidents, right? Because it's not a special group of people that only attack us. In training sessions with humanitarians, I always ask them what would happen if the right mitigation measure to stop armed robberies of NGO cars was to take away the motivation, i.e. take away the phones, the security money, etc. They always laugh. They think it's impossible. Most armed robberies are motivated by the fact that we have things of value in the bases, in the cars, etc. Cash, phones, satellites and radios, and the cars themselves. All high-value items for armed groups and sellable things for criminals or people just trying to survive. The logic behind not removing this motivation is that perpetrators could be angry if they attack and there's nothing to find and they become violent and then the incident escalates. But what is this logic based on if we have never tried it? If everybody knew that in the cars there was no money, no phones and everything, what would happen? What if instead of going through the potential losses of every time we were ambushed and the trauma for the people involved, we simply negotiated a different way with them? Not possible, you say. This would be bribery and against humanitarian principles. Yes, but moving around when everybody knows you've got phones, satellites and monies in a car, I don't know. It's kind of the same, isn't it, really?